I want to talk with you all about one of the few real regrets I have in life. It's going way back to my early childhood that thankfully I can barely even remember now. But I remember this well enough. I want to tell you a story. For those with a sensitive heart, today's video might not be for you, as this story doesn't have a happy ending. Fair warning in advance. I've been your imaginary underworld apostate, NotJah Witness, and this is the story of an old man named Joe Losoncz, but Brother Joe to me. Just before we get into this, I want to shout out my delicious VICs, and especially this one splashed up on the screen. You're a beautiful human being, and I love you for being there for me. If you want to be a VIC and have your name plastered up here in a video, and access awesome bonus content and behind the scenes Nacho goodness, jump on over to Patreon and throw $1 at me. Well, go on then, it's linked below. You can even do it while you watch this, and you'll be done before it's over. Easy as that. Now, let's get right into this. I grew up in a small outback town with a small outback congregation. Our brothers and sisters came from far and wide, and I mean that. Some would travel the equivalent of halfway across Texas 4 or more times a week just to attend meetings in the field service. And most of the time, we would then travel that distance again to serve surrounding towns and properties for a couple hours before driving all the way back home again. Sometimes, this meant that the more distant brothers and sisters wouldn't make the meetings, and we would have them conference call in to join us instead of making the long travel. But one brother we knew would always be at every meeting. He was Joe. He had the least distance to travel than all of us. He lived next door to our Kingdom Hall. From the bottom of my heart, I loved Joe. He was one of the few people I genuinely looked forward to seeing when I was being dragged to the meetings. He was nothing but the sweetest, kindest, most jovial gent you could meet. He treated us kids like his own grandkids, with love and respect. Suffice to say, he was absolutely not one of the devious J-dubs in any way. So I want to make that very clear. He was just a kind, little old dude who had his group of church friends, so to speak. He looked after the Kingdom Hall, and whenever we had a barbecue out the back of the hall, he would let us kids play between the yards, no fuss. He was genuinely a decent bloke to know. Now, Brother Joe was certainly in his golden years when I knew him, and he had lived a grand life, no doubt. But unfortunately for him, he was still human and had human desires, like of companionship, but was devoted to a group that wouldn't really allow him such freedoms. Not because he couldn't go and meet someone, but that someone had to be a JW, and he could not be in her company in private before marriage, let alone, have a good time. So unfortunately, there were no single ladies at our Kingdom Hall for him. So let's cut to the chase. I'm sure you can see where this is starting to go by now. By all things right in this world, he did find a lovely lady for a date, and I assume that set date didn't go all that bad, because he missed 1 or 2 meetings, and seemingly in no time at all it was announced that he had been disfellowshipped, and nobody could sit with him, talk to him, or even look at him intentionally. Maybe that last bit might have been advice from my mother, I can't really recall now. I remember that day though, because when I walked into the hall I didn't understand why he was sitting at the back. He was always normally at the front. But I was still so happy to see him again. I said hello walking in, but got pulled away and put in my seat. After that meeting I asked Mum all about why we couldn't go say hi to Brother Joe. I really don't remember her exact words, but I remember even as a kid knowing what happened. Very similar happened to Mum, which she used as an example as to why we shouldn't talk with him. So he comes back to the truth, like she did. It didn't make sense then, and it doesn't now. As far as my memory will allow, I think that was the last time I saw Joe. It wasn't long before he no longer made meetings. Hopefully the best decision he ever made, but I will never know. And I do know that he was pushed away by every so-called friend he had. Something I forgot, Joe originally owned the land that Kingdom Hall still stands. He split his property into 2 and then helped to build that Kingdom Hall with his own 2 hands. He ended up selling his place next door, or just leaving. I don't actually know. He just wasn't there anymore. I suppose I wouldn't want to be living next to the group that threw you out like that either. For all I know, he could have passed then and just nobody told me. I know he didn't have long left in this world even then, and I can only hope that he found love and happiness before he passed. I hope he gave all of us cunts the middle finger, walked away and found something better in this life, because he deserved it. So how serious is shunning? This story isn't even the worst you might hear on the topic, but take one story of one old man just desiring to be held before he died, and then losing everything because of it. And then the mind of the little kid not understanding why he can't talk to his friend anymore, why nobody will talk to him. I regret going along with it. And I know I was just a kid and really didn't have much say, lest any proper understanding of it all at the time, but I still knew it just didn't make sense. It didn't feel right. I regret it in hindsight because I never got to see him again, and will likely never know what happened to him. As much as that makes me very sad, I can't help but smile still at the good times we did have. And it's those good times. That's how I'll always remember Brother Joe. So, I think I need a real good beer or 3 after that. Any one of you who likes to partake in a drink, have your first one today or tonight for Brother Joe. I know that was a rather heavy discussion, but sometimes it is important to talk through these things to help cope with them. It is obviously something that has left its mark on me over the years, and I'm not ashamed to talk about that. Remember, if you have something on your mind that is weighing you down, talk about it. Reach out to someone. Your friend, family member, a friend's family member, random support workers and phone or internet support groups. Heck, even throw me a DM if it's that desperate. I can help you find the right help. I'm easy to find and talk to on Twitter or YouTube, Facebook. Email me or the Discord. Come and say hey to me there or anywhere. The list goes on. But there are people who are there. They care. They want to listen and help. And they can help. But only if you reach out to them. Look after yourself, everyone. We're only here once, so make the most of it. Be kind, spread joy and love, like Joe did.
All I wanna do is live.